All right, welcome back here to The Hill on News Nation. I'm Blake Berman. Thanks for being with us on this Friday night. I had this whole setup, this whole, thing to talk about on what's Donald Trump going to do this summer. After all, it's like 80 degrees here in Washington. It's beautiful. Maybe your summer plans are coming out. But nope, we're scrapping it all because the president was just asked about Elon Musk aboard Air Force One, and now Musk is speaking as well. Here was the president moments ago when asked for his latest reaction on Musk. Watch.
Honestly, I've been so busy working on China, working on Russia, working on Iran, working on so many that I'm not thinking about Elon. You know, I just wish him well.
Just wish him well. Presidential campaign. Denise Gitsham, fresh off a flight from Cali, News Nation political contributor, and Connor Lamb, former Pennsylvania congressman, in his shirt if you weren't watching because he was rallying here for a rally, and it's a billion degrees. Hello to you all. Happy Friday. Thanks for being with us. All right, I'll start with Denise. So the president today, it was kind of a de-escalation with Trump and Musk today, and it seems like Trump's trying to get past this, maybe?
That felt like a burn to me.
You think that's a burn?
I felt like that was a full-on diss. Like,
okay.
To be like, well, you know, I've got real problems in the world. As leader of the free world, I'm dealing with, presidents, and then who's Elon? You know, it's like, and it's really sad because I think Elon hasn't figured out that you may be the wealthiest man in the world, and he was well before Trump got in, but you're not the leader of the free world. And guess who gets all the headlines? Trump.
You thought that was a burn?
100%. I mean, look, the Wall Street Journal had this line in a story recently that said that Trump had said about Elon, he's 50% genius and 50% boy. I think this week was 100% stupid on his part, to Denise's point. I mean,
in what sense? From a political, from a business, and
all of the above. His entire business is based on government contracts, number one. Number two, he supported Ron DeSantis. Trump never had to let him into this whole thing, and Trump did. And there is no legitimate political operative in this country who believes that somehow Elon Musk elected Donald Trump. Donald Trump elected Donald Trump. So, yeah, I think this was a total burn on his part. Yeah, I'm way too busy. I ain't got time for you.
I'm listening to everything you're saying, but I'm going on my phone because in our feed, when the president was asked about Musk contracts, can the U.S. survive without the Musk contracts? He said the U.S. can survive without almost anybody except me. Basically, throwing a little shade to the contracts.
I mean,
is he like the new BFF of the left now, Elon Musk?
No, look, he torched his customer base. He's torched the government contracts. This is a very bad decision on his part from a business standpoint, certainly. But can I make a political point? I don't think Elon Musk elected Donald Trump. But there is this interesting alliance within the Trump base. I think it was the Mooch who said they are socially conservative but fiscally liberal. You know, it's a lot of the folks Democrats used to have, a lot of Medicaid recipients, by the way, who are now voting like their base by cutting Medicaid recipients to the tune of 9 million getting kicked off the rolls. It's a little problematic for the president right now.
I mean, just look, every minute that the president spends talking about this and fighting with Elon is another minute where he's doing absolutely nothing for the people who he campaigned promising he was going to help. You remember him in the McDonald's drive-through window. The people who drive through McDonald's right now are getting nothing from this administration, and some of them have lost their jobs. They were just at the veterans rally I was at. Some of them are about to lose their Medicaid, or their hospital is going to close in a rural county that went 70-30 for Trump. And he's just forgotten about him. And this episode, to me, just shows that.
Well, I mean, let's look at the labor numbers today. So first of all, that's not really a thing. I mean, the economy's coming back. Inflation's dropped 3 months in a row. It's at the lowest rate it's been for 3 years. Consumer confidence went up 12 percentage points in May. And the labor market's solid. I mean, I don't know how you describe, I mean, you were a congressman, so I definitely defer to you in terms of constituencies. But it feels to me that if you're doing the one thing people elected you to do and you're keeping the economy afloat, then you're doing a pretty darn good job of taking care of the people that elected you.
Well, let me just add that Rasmussen last week had the right track numbers in this country at 50%, the highest they've been in almost 20 years. The president's approval rating is hovering around 50%. If I'm the White House, I'm not hating those numbers at all.
So that's the president commenting on Musk, and Musk giving sort of his view of maybe where things could go from here politically. The way that I was going to set this segment up was basically like what's before President Trump right now. It's not the start of summer. It is. It's June. Your kids might be out of school, right? We're talking about our summer plans. But he's got Xi Jinping to deal with.
Yeah.
He's got Vladimir Putin to deal with. Now, all of a sudden, on a much different level, he's got Elon Musk to deal with. He's got the quote-unquote big, beautiful brawl, as Andy Ogles, a Republican, said to me yesterday, the big, beautiful bill, which is the actual name of the bill. And then when you look at the economy, Jay Powell has come out and said, you know what? The economy is in solid shape. Gas price is about $3. Stock market's been flat. But then you have this trade war, and you got to wonder, sort of, Denise, I'll start with you, where his summer road trip takes him in the next few months.
You know, I don't really know because I can't predict from day to day what's going to come out of the president's mouth. But I'll guarantee you one thing. Everyone's going to be watching because he has everyone wrapped around his finger from the media, from whether you're left or right or wherever you are. Every day is like a new chapter that used to take, months for things to happen. These things are happening every hour. And so what I do know is the president's going to follow through on the campaign promises that he made. You've seen him do it over and over and over. And so far, people are enjoying it.
Yeah, they're going to and look, going back to the Elon stuff real quick, his biggest complaint is about this reconciliation bill. It's going to pass. That is going to pass. There is going to be
the complaint isn't that it's not going to pass. It's that you guys are racking up debt just like the Biden administration.
No, his real issue is the EV mandate. That's not the credits that were in there. Let's be honest. That's his real issue.
But he's been calling for cuts on cuts on cuts on cuts for a while now.
Yes, he is, absolutely. And they're going to try to codify those cuts in separate legislation. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's known this was coming for a long time. I find his timing on this to be quite suspicious. But to your point about the president, I go back to the numbers I just cited a while ago. It seems to me he's got the wind at his back right now. And when they pass this massive tax cut package, Republicans are going to have a lot to talk about going into the fall.
What's before him?
They passed no legislation this year. Absolutely none. The only thing that the president's done in the economy is scare the world with tariffs, cut a ton of people, including veterans, and create tremendous uncertainty, which crashed the market several times. It's now come back a little bit, but it's still 4,000 points below where it was when Joe Biden left this economy. The reason Jay Powell thinks the economy is in okay shape is because Joe Biden left Donald Trump an economy in really good shape. 16 million new jobs. We achieved a soft landing, brought inflation from 9.3 to 3. Inflation's gone down.
It did ramp up on the ramp.
Sure. But at the end of a global pandemic, we were in solid shape, and then they've taken this patient, amputated some legs, and left it on the operating table to take a break to go rail at Harvard. None of this is Donald Trump's economy in a good way, but when the tariffs actually hit, supply chains hit, job losses happen, it will be his economy.
Put your former congressman hat on for me. Where do you think the summer looks like for him going forward?
I think it's just going to continue to be two billionaires fighting with each other over billionaire problems. That's what this looks like to me. So, yeah, you can cite a bunch of statistics, but the reality is the people who were doing well economically before are doing well economically right now. And there's an enormous group of people out there who are frustrated with high prices. They're frustrated with both parties. We can be honest about that, too. But they wanted to see some action from this president on things that make their family budget better, whether it's at the grocery store or the big ticket items like college or housing, and he's not doing anything about it. He's going to make it worse with this healthcare stuff.
You sound like you're running. I know you told me you're not, but no, I'm messing with you. Conor Lamb, appreciate it. Thank y'all.